no idea. It's very exciting. I said, wonderful. We'll throw a provisional together. He said, no, you don't understand. We're going to put it up on the site called Kickstarter, and we're going to promote it. And if we get all our funding, then you'll get paid. I'm normally rather chilly on that kind of proposal until I took a look at the site. And once I saw the site, I saw the 45% success rate. I said, you know what? Let's do it. Let's see what happens. This will be fun. So Dave is now continuing to refine his product, and I've been learning everything I can about crowdfunding, Kickstarter, and all the other sites out there that are attempting to do the same thing, each with their own little twist on it. So just to let you know very briefly what crowdfunding is, it's a way to get relatively smaller amounts of investment from larger numbers of people than are currently available through things like friends and family and angel investor rounds and so forth. That's the basic idea. It's enabled on websites, and the many different websites are kind of focused on different target markets. So if you have an artistic project, you'll go to one site. If you have another type of project, you'll go to another site. We're going to focus on one site that's particularly important to inventors, which is Kickstarter.
Mark?
Yes?
Point of clarification. When you go to friends and family and angels, they're buying into the company.
That's right.
This is different, right?
This is different. This is different. The Kickstarter site is a way to fund projects, not companies. There's another site called ProFounder, which is addressing the issue of getting investors in your company in exchange for equity and revenue sharing. But with Kickstarter, you support a project because of the rewards you get in exchange for your support.
And the rewards being the product when it's produced?
In the case of an invention, it's the product when it's produced is the basic reward. In the case of things like an independent film you want to produce, it might be a T-shirt, right, or an invitation to meet with the director. You know, those are the kind of rewards for that.
But in no case are you a shareholder.
In no case are you a shareholder. Kickstarter makes it quite clear that if you're looking to invest and be a shareholder, this is not the place for you. Yes?
So there's no monetary remuneration. I mean,
you don't get any money back.
You don't
No.
get any money back.
That's right. We'll go through all that. Okay. Wow. Okay. Here are the steps to crowdfunding. First off, make an invention. You need to make a prototype. It's very important to have a prototype available of some sort, not necessarily a physical prototype. Some people have virtual prototypes built on CAD and so on and so forth, but people have to be able to see what it is you've invented. Make a video. This is a very video-intensive sort of thing. We'll talk about what's involved with the video. This is a recommendation. File a patent application. Once your thing is up there, it's public. People can copy you. If it's an invention, you want to have your patent on file beforehand. You then apply to a site. I didn't have that up there. You have to submit an application to Kickstarter, and they have certain rules and so forth for what they will and won't take. If they accept you, you then post your stuff up on the internet with pricing for different award levels. A funding goal, you say, all right, I need to raise $20,000 to make this happen, and a funding deadline, saying I've got 30 to 60 days to raise $20,000. You then promote it, all right? You go to specialty blogs and forums where people talk about your kind of thing. You stop it and say, look what I've got. Come over to Kickstarter and buy it. If you can possibly get a mention on something like Gizmodo or TechCrunch or something like that, that's a huge, huge driver to get stuff to your project. But you do everything you can, as shamelessly as you can, to get people to your site to see if you can get supporters. Yes?
Is Are you trying to get pre-sales?
Pre-sales.
So they're not giving you money to develop the product. This is a pre-sale.
This is a pre-sale. If you decide to be a backer, they call it, you commit to buying the thing at whatever level you do. That's guaranteed through Amazon payment system. You're not charged, though, until if and when they hit their funding goal. Okay? Yeah?
How much time do you have to manufacture and deliver the product?
They don't say.
It's you go there and everyone who creates a project posts. They have a chat, not a chat room, but a little
Dialogue. Yes,
yeah, and
updates.
That is sort of the we hope to get this to you by September. I just paid. When you shipping this to me? I mean, that is a constant dialogue going back and forth between the project creator and the supporters.
Okay. Take committed orders guaranteed by credit card. If you meet your funding goal, everyone gets charged. You get your money. You go off and make and deliver the product. If you don't make your funding goal, no one gets charged. You cry in your beer, and you go back to the drawing board and start over again. Okay? That's the basics. If you get this, then everything else is just embellishing. So let's see what the site looks like. Kickstarter is an example I spoke about. I'm focusing on the product design category. There's lots of other stuff. We mentioned films and books and artistic endeavors and so forth, fashion type stuff. But we're just talking about product design, things that people invent. Here's 3 examples. You've got something called Wing Stand. This is just a little, plastic thingies that you clip onto your iPad and bring up your wireless keyboard to turn it into a desktop computer. Well, why don't you just get a desktop computer? But anyway, this fellow's raised $21,000 for this in the first 30 days of his project. He's got 30 days to go. I've been chatting with him. He's a freshman mechanical engineer at Stanford University. He's going to have a very busy sophomore year. Okay? This one, AstroClip, and I must warn you, I've started backing some of these, and you have to step away from the keyboard because you just get so enthusiastic. But this is a way to use your iPhone to take pictures of the rings of Saturn through your telescope. Just a mount, no big deal. This is 10% funded so far, but 39 days to go. So a lot of time, off to a good start. This one here we'll talk about in some detail. This is called Flip Handle. The basic idea is you want to swing your handlebars at a right angle so they're not sticking out catching everything. All right? And the inventor of this, Alejandro, is right here. And he brought one with him, I think, and so we'll show it around later on. He just launched his project. He's also off to a good start with $5,000 and 48 days to go. Yes?
Are the amounts projected posted as well? The goals?
Yes. When you click through to the projects, when you look at the web page, you click on this, it takes you to the project page.
Okay.
All right, and what you see is something that looks like this. All right, the title, there's a video right there. There's text talking about it, which can go down quite a ways, more pictures. You can see the beginning of the list of the funding levels. For $1, they say thank you. Okay? For $10, you get a drawstring sport pack. For $75, you get one of these things. And that's the level I backed it at. So I'm a backer, right? And I'm looking forward to full funding and getting my little thing. It shows you what the goal is, $75,000, how much they've raised so far. And there's lots more. I think yes, go ahead.
Now, in this case, where are they in the development stage?
Well, they have the prototype. They've made some.
Okay.
And the patent app has issued. Is that right?
The patent is granted in U.S. and pending in Japan and Europe and China.
Right.
So they're in the pre-production stage, is that it?
There are samples, not just prototype. These samples comes from the right way of manufacturing the product. It's with the right material and everything.
So it's a pre-production run.
Yeah, I just made 50 of them, but the goal is to make 1,000 of them.
Okay.
Is that a typical scenario for this crowdfunding process?
That's a typical scenario.
And let me ask you a question, Alan.
Yeah.
If you, in your goal, I assume what you're covering there is cost of tooling and manufacturing and all that. So you've already done the analysis behind it that says that would allow me to get to that point.
Yes.
Given the fact that people often will make pre-production ones as you have, I'm wondering, is there ever a situation where you get a dual price schedule? In other words, you mentioned if they don't make the number, nobody gets anything and nobody gets charged anything. But it would seem like you might say for $75 you get a production unit if you make 100% of the money. But for $200 you can get a pre-production unit guaranteed because you've actually made 50.
Well, not that's true, but the thing is that this model, the model that I made, should I?
Sure, go ahead. Yeah.
I had to leave the bicycle in the Grand Central Station because of peak hours. I cannot bring the bicycle, so I just brought that example. This, you push a button here, and then you can. This is attached to the steering tube, and this is attached to the stem. So you won't be able to see, but I twist it, and then it locks in place until the handle is there. This is made all in metal and by CNC machines, which is a very expensive way to make it. And also is made in Buenos Aires. The one I'm going to make with that production has some plastic parts which require molding. So I cannot make that amount of units with this process. Mm-hmm. I can make that with the molding and the new process.
Right. But for people, say Mark was impatient, at some number, there must be a number, $1,000, there's some number that he would actually sell in one of these all-metal ones, even without getting into production.
Yeah, but if I don't reach the goal, no money is going to be transferred to me. I can do that besides outside Kickstarter, but not through Kickstarter in this project.
Does Kickstarter allow you like double dipping? Can you do stage 1, stage 2, stage 3?
Each project has a single goal, but I've seen some projects say, all right, my goal is 10,000. If I get 10,000, I'll do this. If we get to 40,000, I'll do this. If we get to 100,000, I'll do this. But the only enforceable level is the first one.
But could you raise money for the first phase, go away, and come back?
Sure.
60 days later?
Well,
phase 2?
yeah. I mean, I don't know what the timing is.
It's a separate project.
It's all negotiable. I mean, they've only been doing this 2 years, so if you have a good idea, talk to them.
What's their cut?
So then are
5%, yes.
do you gain access to the names of these people?
Yes.
So then
That's your marketing list. That's your demographics. That's absolutely, we're going to get
They
into a whole
don't keep
marketing
that
thing shortly.
proprietary.
That's very exciting. Someone asked, what's their cut? Kickstarter takes 5%. Amazon takes 5% for handling the money. So 10% is taken off the top. You get 90%. Yes?
I don't mean to tie this up too much. I'm missing the point. Why would I give $10 for a drawstring sport pack?
You know what's funny? What does it say? 13 people have already.
I mean, is it built on goodwill, or I don't get it.
I don't know. I don't get it either.
It's like, this is not supposed that you are selling anything. This is, these are donations.
Oh, okay.
So what you give in return is just a gift. You are not buying. It's not supposed that I'm selling this there. I'm giving this away as a gift.
Okay.
Because you are giving me a donation.
Okay.
It's kind of tricky, but that's the way that's the philosophy of
Right.
Very good.
So if you just think this is a cool idea, you want to give them $10. Get you get a little pack, right, with the logo. I'm part of the whole thing.
For $75, you get one of those.
You get one of those, right?
plus something else.
Actually, usually it's like you get this and you get the drawstring and the thank you. There's a question way in the back. Yes.
What about follow-on rights?
What's that?
Follow-on rights for equity and the like. I mean, is this all you get? Is if you get a sample, or by virtue of your having been pledged your money up front, do you get follow-on rights for an equity raise?
No, they're very clear about that you cannot offer equity or any sort of monetary reward in exchange for,
right, it's not,
or even a right. You can't do that. Yes?
You could go back to your list and do that privately after the Kickstarter time frame is over.
There's a little thing down here. If you want to send Alejandro an email, say, Alejandro, this is fabulous. I'd like to invest in your company. And you want to take that offline and have that discussion. Okay? Over here?
One more thing about what you were talking. There is a category there that once you start the process, you can offer money with no reward.
That's right. You don't have to take the reward.
Yeah, on the Kickstarter site, are you mainly showcasing your product, or are you showcasing your business case behind it?
Just the product. You're not putting any business cases up.
And Kickstarter is not entitled to any funding down the road in terms of...
Nope.
They're just helping you launch a product.
Well,
It's an introductory service.
right, because what most people are doing at our own companies, but they migrate to their own website. And you'll go to the funding's over, but they'll have some copy up there that says go visit fliphandle.com. And now you can buy direct or contact, and then it's like more of a real world experience.
Okay. Oh, I almost forgot. My daughter figured out how to do this. Here's the little movie that he put together. We don't have sound on this, so there's some nice music going on in the background, and
That's great. That's awesome.
you know what she's saying there, right?
I noticed that a successful aspect to making a video is to have a good-looking woman in it.
You got it.
Or a puppy.
Or a puppy. I don't know how many puppies there are.
Female.
this is a great
Yeah?
this is a great
1 minute.
Yo quiero uno.
Yeah.
the website.
All right.
Good Spanish.
So, once I heard about this, bashful fellow that I am, I started backing some projects and sending emails to the people putting them up saying, how did you get into this? And how do you do this? And what does it take to be successful? And here's some of the feedback I've gotten from the various people I've been corresponding with, and we'll go into some examples shortly. What do you need to be successful? Well, you got to have your prototype. Right? And as I said, either physical or made very nicely. It has to convey to people that this is a real thing. This isn't an abstract idea. And if they back it, and you promise to give them one as a reward, that you'll be able to deliver on that promise. You've got to have your production facilities all lined up beforehand. So you've got to know who your fabricator is going to be and how you're going to do it, and all that stuff. And by the way, I noticed by all means take a picture, but if anybody wants a copy of this, just give me your card later. All right, so you've got to have your facilities lined up. You've got to have a video that's good, but not too good. All right? It has to be professional, look good, but you don't want something that Coke would put up at Super Bowl at halftime, okay? Because there's this sort of indie vibe to the whole thing, that you're an independent person, you're putting this together, and please support me. You need a business plan, and that's a bit of a strong word. You need at least a spreadsheet to figure out where the money's going to go and what everything is going to cost and all that sort of stuff. In terms of financial goals, what the people with successful projects have told me is, I hope to break even. That's my goal, is to break even and make money on licensing. All right? So with Kickstarter, you show there's a market for your product, you've gone into production, you have demographics and marketing information about your product, and now you can turn around and are in a much stronger position to license it to someone who can get them into Walmart.
It's paid sampling.
It's one way to look at it. Yep. In terms of media coverage, there's kind of two types of media, and the boundary between the two is blurring. There's the social network media, blogs, specialty forums. A lot of the people with successful projects said, several months beforehand, if it's a bicycle thing, I started going to the bicycle forums and joining and participating in the conversation, getting to know the moderator, and so that when it was time to launch my product, I could say, hey, look at this thing, isn't this cool? And then they'll do a blog posting on it, and people will talk about it, and they'll click through to the Kickstarter page. The real home runs are if you can get into the big commercial sites. I mentioned Gizmodo, TechCrunch, Fast Company, HuffPost, and even the New York Times. All right? If you can get featured there, and you can track this, you'll see the sales grow, and then, what's the step change where 1,000 people showed up and signed up? That's when I was featured on Gizmodo, and everybody came over and got one. Have a wide range of award offerings. Make sure there's a buck. If someone wants to give you a buck, take a buck. I say $1 to $1,000. There was a really neat watch project that had a $10,000 award, and the lowest watch award was at $100. The $10,000 was if you wanted the watch in solid gold. I thought that was pretty funny. Nobody signed up for that one just yet. There has to be some kind of cool factor to it. It's got to kind of emotionally appeal to people. There may be something about it that's inspirational. Like, gee, wouldn't it be great if we could all do this? Or a public service factor. This is good for the community as a whole. It helps to already be a successful designer. A lot of the successful projects were put up by people that already had their own design businesses, and this was just something they wanted to give it a shot. And finally, if you don't succeed the first time, keep trying. A lot of people are rejected by Kickstarter once and twice or even more, and they give you some feedback, and you retweak it, you submit it, and maybe you don't make your funding levels, so you retool it again and submit it again. Yes?
Do you know why people would be rejected?
Yes. Yes and no. Kickstarter has some very strict guidelines. And when you go through their application process, you have to check off that you've read each one of these guidelines. Like, no equity. You can't offer equity as part of one of your awards. So if you do submit a project and say, well, for the $10,000 thing, I'll give you a 50% share of my company, they'll reject it for that. Once you get through those things, though, there are some intangible things which, who knows why they reject it. And when you read some of the forums that are critical of Kickstarter, that's the big complaint. I submitted it to Kickstarter, I met all the requirements, and they still turned me down. I don't know why. It's kind of like the patent office.
Yeah.
Yes?
Do they do the due diligence on the individual, or do you submit your background, et says, yeah, they're qualified and understand, the product development cycle and how to make prototypes and stuff. Do they do anything in Kickstarter?
They ask you about what you've done before that's like this. And I don't know if they have any hard and fast criteria. Do you want to say anything about?
No, I don't.
Right.
I don't recall that part. I do. They did ask for my background, but nothing major.
Yeah. I don't know if they do a credit check. I don't think they do a credit check.
How long was the process?
Oh, it was. It took us long to get all together, but you can start working on the site once they approve you, which is quick. No. To get approval is like a few days, a week maybe.
Just like the patent office.
Yeah. So
Yes.
then you can start working on the site, and you can take for as long as you want.
Yeah, there's no limit on. Once you're approved, you can take as long as you want.
Yeah.
I think way in the back there was a question.
I was wondering, after the product is sold and delivered to the customer, is there a feedback form on the site where people can say, yeah, this thing worked as expected, or...
Yeah, there's a comment section. Anybody can leave comments about it, and so on. There was a question here, yes?
Can you do your branding independently of this then? As you brand, in other words, if you're going to do a trademark or attempt to brand your product, this is done separately from Kickstart and so on. It can be done concurrently.
I'm not sure I understand what you're saying.
When you have an opportunity to do a possible trademark for some product, in other words, as a way of identifying it. The other way is as you start to identify it, then you start to make a brand up so that you become known for that brand. That particular trademark, that identifies it.
Any trademarking you do would be independent of this, like trademark registration would be independent of this. People say one of the reasons I'm raising money is for legal fees, so maybe the legal fees might include trademark work. But also, you're building your own brand on Kickstarter. So that's why... does that help answer your question?
Yes, that answers it.
Yes.
I'm kind of curious about the age group of the donors. Is this like kids, basically, or young adults who have discretionary?
18 to 80.
They don't care?
It's all age. It's a broad age spectrum in terms of people that put things up and people who are backers, from what I've seen so far.
He's addicted to it.
So we got the geezers covered. Yes.
I'm trying to figure out why it is that the business plan is stopping with break even and then make money on licensing. If Amazon's involved in this, it would seem to me that basically this round pays for the productionization of the process and gets the first batch through where you break even. And at that point, it would seem to me that Amazon ought to just start selling them, and you're making a killing now because your margins go way up now that you've paid all your fixed costs. So it would seem like there should be a flow from Kickstart into Amazon, and that would be the end of it. I mean, you're taken care of now. It's marketed, it's branded, it's...
Right. When I say break even, I'm saying for the Kickstarter project itself.
Right.
It's the feedback I got, and we'll talk about some of these case histories. The feedback I got was, I just hoped I would break even. Not, I hoped I'd make a whole pile of money and retire. And it was downstream where they were going to, was where they were going to make their money. Over here, yes?
So is there a follow-up website to Kickstarter?
No, you want to start one?
Well, I mean, because there's, this is kind of, it's the right word, information. I'm not an inventor, but this is kind of the first phase. But now what I hear you approaching is the next level via the web.
There's a whole new world opening up here. Who knows how it's going to evolve?
But there isn't, to your knowledge.
As far as I know, there's no one who's really addressing the Kickstarter alumni at this point.
And actually, I believe...
I'm sorry. Am I wrong? Go ahead.
I believe Amazon is involved as far as providing the payment process. It's not that they are going to sell the product later on.
Right.
It's just to provide the...
They just handle the payment aspect.
They just redirected the link. I mean, once you've done it, if the orders keep coming in, if you get more interest, they could just post it as a product.
Well, it could be that Kickstarter has Amazon as a subcontract.
Exactly.
And they could choose when things get better, you could choose another vendor to do.
Let me walk through some of the examples because I think that'll address. Okay. Backcountry boiler. This was the first one I got sucked into. I'm a backpacker. I'm a mechanical engineer with a specialty in combustion. How could I not get one of these things? It's a little water boiler you take out when you're backpacking, made out of aluminum, and I think they're anodized. It's going to get my name etched in it, and so on. And all it is a little chimney with a water jacket. You put your sticks in here, you light it down on the bottom, and it burns and it boils your water. All right? It's an old concept, but it's got kind of a nice little neat twist on it. Devin Montgomery, a recent graduate from college, put this together in I don't know if it was a 30 or 60-day project, but he had 563 backers, raised $60,000 with a $20,000 goal. Yes?
What happens when you do raise more money than you have initially stated you need?
You make more of whatever it is.
Oh, so there's no cap?
Well, remember, you've got to deliver. No, there's no cap.
Oh, okay.
There's no cap.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
Do the sites stay up for a while? Say I wanted to go there and browse and see what?
Absolutely. Right. So his site is still up there. You can go see what's going on. There'll be a project update, so he'll update on how the production is coming, and I'm doing this, and we're doing the tooling with this, and so you can follow them after.
So it stays up for, we don't know.
Forever so far, but they're only 2 years old. So, yes, way in the back?
Good question. Yes, he's like 3 times oversubscribed to this. What if he found out that it cost him a lot more to make these? Is he legally bound to deliver all of them?
Nope.
Okay.
The only thing Kickstarter says about that to backers is, you know what? If you screw a lot of people, you're pretty exposed legally. And sooner or later, someone is going to take the money and run. So.
Isn't there also a level of protection on the part of the pledger because they're using a credit card to pay for it? So if I don't get delivery, then the credit card...
No.
No?
It's a pledge. It's support.
So Devin, have you talked to him?
Yeah, I've chatted with Devin.
Does that cover his liability insurance?
We didn't get into that kind of detail.
Do they think it's stuff like that? I guess, that's a...
Yeah, go ahead.
What percent of the deals are for products delivered?
Probably about 10%. 90% of this site is things like an indie film or an album or an art project, okay, where it really is, like supporting National Public Radio or something, except it's a project-based thing. This is more an offshoot, which also happens to have the biggest dollar numbers.
What kind of exposure are they getting a day? Like, how many hits are they getting?
I don't know.
How many people go on this thing?
I don't know. Let's move up the dollar level a little bit, and the age level as well. This is the Tiger titanium lock that's as cool as your bike. This is a titanium band with a locking mechanism here. They did file patents on this. Here's a copy from their patent. The band is tough but flexible, so it will wrap around a thing so you can lock your bike. It only weighs a pound. It's very light because it's made out of titanium. And Bob and John Laughlin, right over in New Jersey, they have their own design firm, SCI. They normally design security-type locks and license their designs. John was telling me that they had this idea kicking around for a while. They really couldn't get any licensees interested in it. And they said, what the heck, let's go to Kickstarter. And they had 740 backers, raised $108,000 with an initial $37,000 goal. And now, he said, all of a sudden people are interested in licensing.
Are they coming to him?
We didn't get into that kind of detail.
So, I see there's a really interesting vetting process.
Yeah.
As a prelude licensing programs. A lot of inventors, as people in this room would admit, don't want to get into the business of business.
Right.
They want to license, downstream license and go back upstream to the river. So it's a very neat process for a bit.
Okay. And no discussion of Kickstarter would be complete without a discussion of their biggest project so far, which is TikTok and Lunatic. This is an iPod Nano, and what they sell is this kind of cool machined holder for it with straps. Okay. They sold $940,000 worth of these, or had $940,000 worth of pledges in a 30-day fundraise, and I believe they delivered all of their watches within a couple of months after they closed. Now, Scott Wilson is a very well-known designer. He has a large studio. $1 million is nice, but did not substantially change his standard of living, I don't think. Okay? This is an example of someone who's successful being successful. He used to be the former chief watch designer for Nike. But still, it's just fun to see something like that. This also raises the very important issue of intellectual property, all dimensions of intellectual property. All right? There are Chinese knockoffs for $20 that pulled the images right off of Kickstarter and used the trade name. Okay? So when you start talking this money, you will be copied, and you better be able to defend yourself.
Well, that's why you licensed the Apple.
I forgot the best part of this. All right? Yeah, this is nice. We talk about, they do a follow-up survey of all the backers. All right? And they ask them a question. Do you own an iPod Nano? 80% did not even own an iPod Nano. All right? Once Apple heard about that, they said, give me that. And they're now selling this in their stores. So they license it to Apple to sell iPod Nanos.
Is there an utility patent on that?
I don't know their whole patent story. They did tell me there are patents on file.
I think it's interesting to point out that if you go to Kickstarter now, or at least in the last couple of weeks, I go there, once or twice a week, there are a couple of people doing the same thing.
Oh, there's all kinds of watch projects up now. Yeah.
Ever since this, so not only the Chinese or whoever, the Asian market knocking it off, but it's being knocked off to a degree on Kickstarter.
Well, they've realized if you have a cool watch design, Kickstarter is a good place to sell it.
But they're
and their iPod, sure.
I mean, they clip around and turn it into a watch, which is
Yes.
Can I revisit the break-even bit?
Oh, sure.
I'm losing something. If you get up to manufacturing, you have to go through the conventional means of getting to get it manufactured, such as the bike.
Right.
And then are you paying it back through this to recoup the monies, or?
Well, let's use this as an example. All right. This project closed, I don't know, like December, right after Christmas sometime. All right, or before Christmas. It was right around Christmas time they had this up. They then get a check. They get $940,000 in funds. And they use that funds because they have to deliver the rewards now. Okay? So they use the funds to manufacture the watch bands and ship the watch bands and do all the bookkeeping and, manufacturing business. And what people have told me was, I broke even. It cost me $940,000 to deliver all these things. So I didn't make any money.
But to get to the tooling, to get to prototyping,
right.
Get to get the thing up and running, is that through angels, family, etc. still?
Well, if you're a really good salesperson, you go to your tooling guy and say, look, I'm going to do a Kickstarter project. I will pay you if my funding is successful. And he says, why should I do that? I said, well, I got a 45% success rate, and I'll pay you a bonus.
That's exactly what I've done. That's exactly what I'm doing. I went to I'm making an accessory for an iPad, which Apple stuff just does really well. And so I'm doing an iPad accessory, and I went to each and every person involved in it and said, I'm going to do tell me what the filmmaker, he happens to be a friend of mine. He's a starting filmmaker, but he's really good. And I said, tell me what this would, how much time this would take. What would your project fee be for this? And he's, we're talking $3,000. So instead of paying him $3,000, if it's successful, I'm going to pay him $3,000 plus 15%. So he's getting a 15% ROI for doing this with me. Of course, if it doesn't work, he gets nothing. I'm saying the same thing for my manufacturer. My manufacturer, I'm just the fabricator. I'm just saying, if you do this and it's a hit, you're my manufacturer. So can you make a prototype for the video, which they're doing? Make me 20 so I can send them out to the media, which they're going well, I haven't had that conversation yet, but I hope you will. and then, and then you hope it's going to work out. But the thing that's scaring me is that they had 942 minus the 10%, but they broke even. Well,
I don't know if these guys broke even, but the Tiger guys said, we'll probably break even.
So is that a challenge then to knowing that when you go in and you say, all right, I'm going to price this thing? Part of the incentive for people to pledge is that, well, I'm going to retail this thing for $75, but if you buy it through Kickstarter, I'm going to sell it to you for $50. So that's incentive for the people to pledge, but is that also a trap for the inventor, because then you don't make money after all this?
One of the backers actually, and I'll get this to you, shared with me the spreadsheet he put together to do all the finances on this to see if it was worth doing. So.
Yeah, you should be able to forecast.
Yeah.
All of that, so that should not be hard.
Right.
Can we pretty well prove that they would make money in this case? Because if they've got a $15,000 goal, and if the business model that you've got in the back of your head is 15,000 is break even, that to make, let's say they're $50 each. So 15,000 means they're going to break even, and they're going to have a combination of fixed cost and variable costs. Well, all the fixed costs are a one-time deal, namely...
Not when you suddenly multiply your production by a factor of 10.
But if you multiply times 10, the worst case scenario is you make it the same way, and your fixed costs have been prepaid. The best case is you now make it, in another method, which is dirt cheap. But it would seem like if they just plot it out, the 15,000 they break even, and above that, their margins are going to skyrocket.
I appreciate everything you're saying. All I'm giving you is the feedback I got from the people that did it. Yes?
Well, this begs the question as to cutting off reverse bleeding. Can you just opt out once you've gotten your 15,000?
I don't know. Can you just... Well, actually, you can cancel projects.
Any pledge in time within the 60 days that exceeds 15,000, sorry, we can't accept it.
You'd have to talk to the Kickstarter folks about that. I don't know. I've only been at this 2 months, in my spare time.
I think it's new ground.
It's new ground. Who knows? People are trying stuff. Yes?
As a business person, I don't see this as a transaction that you're trying to make a profit on or affect. This is proof of concept to a business person. That's why I jumped into this. So you want to see how many people come into it. Like you said, he couldn't get any licensing interest before, and then
you go back to Apple, say, look, Apple, we're knocking this out of the ballpark. I need a little, back me up here if you want an exclusive license for this.
Well, as a business person, I see something like this without any buyers. You don't know what the market is.
Right.
Here you've got people that have pledged and gone through this process without being solicited, presumably, just coming into it, stumbling upon it, let's say, and you've got quite a good response. So that's, to a company, a large company, that'll be indicative of, if they run some numbers, what they might be able to extrapolate from it, and kind of model some market numbers for it.
Yeah.
He made money for this.
He's making money now.
No, but
On this guy, he probably made a little money. Probably.
Has anyone tried to do any business patents on something like this, either on your crowdfunding or Kickstarter?
I don't know if Kickstarter has filed any business method patents. I really haven't looked to see. That's a great question. I don't know. Probably somebody has. All right. I think... Wait, do I have... well, all right. The bottom line is it's an effective way to raise money for initial product design, initial marketing work. Success depends upon good design, planning, promotion, and tireless persistence. Thank you.